This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English. Episode number 206, baby. Oh yeah. In today's episode, I speak to personal trainer Tej again. Remember, his name is Tom Jones, TJ, but I haven't got time to say TJ. I've got things to do. So I make that Tej, PT, Tej. And we speak about what can go wrong at your wedding, because mine is coming up very soon on the 21st of August, assuming there are no more lockdowns or anything like that. Please God. And PT Tej has a lot to share about this because he also got married abroad a few years ago. PT Tej also has a slight problem with his audio. You know how much I love audio, but we all know that true rock and roll isn't perfectly in tune, is it? It can't be. It wouldn't be rock and roll. But as I said, it's only a small problem. Anyway, remember, all of the vocab, the rock and roll vocab, is on the website rockandrollenglish.com, and there's a lot today, some really nice terms. And I will include some pictures on the website in the show notes that we speak about in the episode for those that want to see them. There are some embarrassing pictures that we speak about, too embarrassing to go on social media. But if you want to see them, I will hide them on the website so you can find them. Anyway, that's enough of me talking. Here is the episode. I will speak to you all again at the end. Happy listening. PT Tej, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Martin. How are you?
Always fantastic. Always fantastic. Even more fantastic now I'm talking to you in an environment I'm comfortable with. There's no jumping up and down, nothing like that. Sitting in a room talking. This is where I'm at my best, okay? You're at your best jumping up and down. I'm at my best sitting in a chair, okay? Nice.
I have to say I'm probably sweating more today than trying to keep up with you, given the heat that we've got in England at the minute.
Lovely rock and roll vocabulary straight away there. Would keep up with you, like to stay at the same level, let's say, because I think it has broken the 15 degrees mark in England, so that means PT Tej is sweating. How do they say? Like a pedo in a, what do they say? Like a pedo in a kid's shop, is that right?
I don't know, I was just going to go for just sweating like a fat bloke, or sweating like I used to.
Yeah, because you did used to be a fat bloke, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I was going to stray away from the pedo example, which I thought this was a family show.
Yeah, probably a good idea. So to stray away, to sort of go away from it. And we also had the opportunity to remind you that you did used to be a fat bloke, which is something that I always enjoy. Okay. Anyway, it's been a while since you've been on the show, but do you remember how we start a show here on Rock and Roll English?
Since I've been on it, Martin, I've actually listened to some of your podcasts.
Oh, that's good to know.
So kick off with a review.
That's right, certainly do. So do you think we have a review?
I hope we've got a review. Otherwise, setting us up for a fall.
Lovely rock and roll vocabulary again, setting us up for a fall, like preparing ourselves for a disaster, let's say, but no disaster here. Anyway, it's from Oya Sementina. As always, apologies for the pronunciation. A Facebook review, 5 stars, and it says, "Regards from Russia. I have been listening to Rock and Roll English for more than 1 year." Nice present perfect continuous there. While listening to the podcast, I feel like I have a good time sitting in the kitchen with my close friends with a cup of tea. Martin and his friends discuss topics of current interest in a positive spin. Also, they have clear speech and pleasant voices, so I can understand every word they say. And if I don't, rock and roll vocabulary helps me. By the way, it would be great if Martin's friends do explanations of rock and roll vocabulary too. It's just my little wish. Okay, PT Tej, I hope you're ready for that. A few words about my progress in English. With the COVID lockdown, I didn't have any opportunity and time to practice my English. Listening to Rock and Roll English helps me not to forget English at all, or how it looks and how it sounds. Keep on rocking, guys. Oh, how did that make you feel, PT Tej?
Makes me feel good.
I can tell by your voice. In fact, she actually mentioned something in this review of pleasant voices, and I always have thought you've got the most boring voice in the whole world. All right, yeah, see you later.
It's efficient. That's what it is.
So the perfect person to have on a podcast, I suppose. Hey,
yeah. The irony, though, talking to you, probably is the most miserable person in the world. So.
I have heard many times that I've got a boring voice, but I embrace it. I accept it. Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't say boring voice. Just personality.
Oh, okay. I'll take that. Thanks a lot. Anyway, finally on to today's show. Do you know what we're talking about today?
No. Surprise me.
Again, you seem just so enthusiastic for this surprise. Well,
last time I was on here, it was just about how fat I used to be. So,
I mean, we can always put that in. That's fine. We can put that in all the time. That's a constant. Well, PT Teach, as you know, I'm getting married in 2 weeks, 21st of August, and as you're the only person I know that has got married to a non-English girl in a country that is not England, I thought, as I'll be doing the same very soon, I could come to you for some advice. So, I like to always concentrate on the negative things. So I thought we could talk about things that could go wrong at your wedding, okay?
Right, okay.
And you could put my mind at rest. So put my mind at rest. Just make me relax, okay? Because obviously I'm getting pretty worried about this whole thing. PT Teach got married 4 years ago. You had your wedding anniversary recently, I saw, didn't you?
Correct, yeah. Thursday, 4 years marriage.
Yeah. In Austria, because PT Teach's wife comes from Austria. A fantastic day. I was there. I'm sure we'll go into a bit of detail about that during today's podcast. But yes, let's have a look at things that can go wrong. Okay, so number one, things that can go wrong for your marriage is a global pandemic. Okay.
Start lightly.
Yeah, it's not something that I'd actually considered once.
No.
Obviously, I arranged the wedding last year. You think about things. I didn't actually put a global pandemic on the list.
Did you get wedding insurance or not?
No, in fact, I didn't even know that existed, wedding insurance. I thought, what has the world come to? Wedding insurance? That's just a load of bullshit for me. You're going to get insurance for going to the toilet soon. It's just ridiculous, going to the toilet insurance.
You probably could have done with it this year, though, yeah? I mean, of all of the years to call it bullshit, this is probably the not the one.
Probably, but I'm just morally against it. I thought you were saying I could have done with the toilet insurance, and I thought, well, sometimes I do have some bad experiences in the toilet, so a bit of insurance just to make sure you don't die on the toilet. You can do that, can't you? Push too hard, and you can have a heart attack. So get some toilet insurance.
There we go.
So that's the first thing. So let's go to the second one, which is quite an interesting one, actually. Things that can go wrong at your wedding. One of the guests gets too drunk. Is that something that happened at your wedding, PT Teach?
If I remember correctly. I think it must have been just after the ceremony. What, about 4 o'clock?
Well,
looked over at you. I mean, you turned up looking quite smart, and I think by about 4 o'clock you were slumped, tie undone, pissed after about probably 3 or 4 small beers.
So I would just like to say, well, first of all, some nice vocabulary. Pissed. So in Britain that means drunk. Yeah. But I blame you entirely for this because, we had the ceremony. That was all great. And there was a ceremony outside in the church. All lovely, all very formal. I was pretending to be posh and talk, like pronouncing my T's, stuff like this. And then we sat down on a bench and they said there were some people coming around with beers on a tray saying, do you want a beer? I said, okay, thanks. And then they just kept coming. And we waited, in my mind, it was like 3 hours, and the beers were on tap. So, on tap, they just kept coming.
Yeah.
It would have been rude to say no. And then, as you said, by 4 o'clock, I was just completely obliterated. So, like completely drunk.
Yeah, I mean, we ate dinner at 6, and I just remember you coming up to me just saying, you've got to get me out of here. You've got to get, and then going up to someone else, one of the other guests, saying, you've got to take me home. 6 o'clock in the evening.
Look,
we haven't.
It was your fault for those 3 beers. It was like I would have half a beer left, okay? And then the woman would come round and say, "Do you want another one?" And I was thinking, well, if PT just paying, fuck it. I'll get as many. I'll have 5, please.
Have you got open bar at your wedding?
I've got an open bar.
There we go. I'm going to hammer that, I tell you.
So hammer it, like really take advantage of it. Because, I thought, well, fuck it. If I don't drink this, PT just paying for it. I think I'll just tip this one on the floor. That's
the sort of shithousery you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible behaviour.
Some lovely vocabulary again there, shithousery. I think that's a completely invented word, but a fantastic word, just like horrible things you would do. But I didn't actually do that. They all actually went inside me, which was the problem.
It is worth noting you didn't actually drink any more than anyone else, though. And everyone else seemed fine.
That's not true.
Everyone else was fine.
I drank about 2 million beers and everyone else drank about 2. That was the difference.
Okay. You did also lose a bet later on in the night. Name England footballers.
That was one. That was because I was too drunk. Otherwise, I would have won that. I also remember having a conversation with Mrs. PT Teach's dad. And considering he doesn't speak English and I don't speak German, I remember talking to him for about half an hour. So I don't know how that conversation was going.
Yeah. I mean, it was going "Sao gut," if you remember well. which translated means pig good, which...
Oh, yeah, of course. I think, I remembered that one. Yeah, that was one of the German terms.
Yeah, that you picked up. But you look like you're having fun, so...
That is exactly what I was going to say. That's the beauty of languages. Just a nice smile, just, moving your head up and down, and that's all you need. And a few beers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so moving on, though. Something else that can go wrong is you can forget something, okay? You can forget your rings, you can forget your speech, something like that. Did any of that happen on your wedding, Tej?
No. Perfect day. I actually didn't forget anything.
Okay, good.
Seamless, yeah.
Seamless, so like, no problems at all. Speaking of forgetting things, I was in England the other day and got in the car, was going to a shop, and then I said to my mum, "Oh shit, I haven't got my mask," because obviously now you need to wear a mask to go everywhere. And my mum said, I'll have a look in my bag. So she looked in her bag and said, "I haven't got a mask, but I've got a sock."
That's probably quite handy if you're an elephant. But...
Exactly. I was thinking, what the fuck am I going to do with a sock?
Put it over your shoes.
No, that's only for nights out. Not even 2 socks, just 1. But
nice.
But we did have to go back in the end. So about speeches, actually, that's something that can go wrong. You did yours in German and English, I believe, didn't you?
Correct. Yeah. Although that was quite stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Did need quite a few beers before that.
You went for the reading option, did you, or not? I can't remember. I was there, but this was the point. I was so drunk.
Yeah, your body was there, but you looked pretty hollow.
This was, in fact, I think this is what sobered me up. So there's a nice term there, sort of make me less drunk, because the speeches were going on. I'm pretty sure I fell asleep, but when your head's sort of going down.
This must have been about 8 o'clock.
But then I got a second wind. So when you get a second wind, it's like when you go again. I had a little rest there, left the beers alone for a bit, and then I was ready for the other stuff, which I can't remember what I was drinking.
The schnapps, yeah.
Yeah, schnapps, yeah.
Yeah. That's what you had to down a bottle of.
Yeah, that's another thing. I had to down a bottle of something. So when you down it, it's when you just like drink it all in one. So that's probably what explains the fact that on the dance floor there are pictures of me with my shirt off.
Yeah, looking particularly hairy.
Yeah, it
wasn't a nice sight. Right, just imagine just wet hair, like a dog.
Yeah,
with a pair of trousers on, effectively.
Well, the thing is, anytime my shirt's off, I'm always looking hairy. So that wasn't a one-off. It wasn't just like that one occasion.
True.
And when I've seen the pictures of your wedding, I noticed that at the beginning I could see lots of people on the dance floor, but then the pictures when I've got my shirt off, I'm the only person on the dance floor. There's literally no one else there.
You surprised?
Well, I think they were intimidated by my muscly body.
That is true, yeah. I mean, we've seen the example of that, the solid 3 out of 10.
Oh, 3 out of 10 for my fitness is bullshit. That's what it is.
Bang on.
So, a nice term there, bang on. It's exactly right. But I had a great night that night, all right? So that's all that matters, isn't it, for your wedding, that I had a good time.
I'm glad. So, like TripAdvisor, solid 10 out of 10, yeah?
Oh, I would give your wedding 11 out of 10. It was a great day.
I'll tell the other half.
Yeah, so the other half is a nice term to refer to your wife or partner, in PT teacher's case, wife, obviously. So speaking of wives, the next thing that can go wrong, which is something you do with your wife, is the first dance. I'm getting a bit worried about this. I remember you telling me as well you were shitting it. So when you're shitting it, it's when you're worried. Yeah,
big time. Yeah, we actually had dance lessons as well.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. I tried to have dance lessons, but then that global pandemic thing happened, and then you're not allowed anymore.
Yeah. I'm sure you're allowed that close to your wife, aren't you? Or your fiancée?
Yeah, but I don't think you're allowed, I don't know, near the teacher or anything like that. So I'm getting really worried about this now because I don't think I'm particularly known for my dancing ability.
Not at all. Not at all.
I think the only time I ever dance is when I'm ridiculously drunk. So I think I need to get ridiculously drunk before and then maybe just take my shirt off again. And then...
Yeah, that's great for the first night as a married man. She'll love that.
Yeah, exactly. What was the song for your first dance? Was it a Coldplay one, your favourite band?
Yeah, it was Coldplay in Yellow.
Was it really?
yeah, it was. The best bit is you still can't even remember this. So we've managed to we've chopped out about 5 hours of the day that you actually can't remember after having about 3 beers.
3 million beers, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised you managed to get your shirt back on.
No, I think I at least took my shirt off after your dance. Oh, I should have just, like in the middle of you dancing, just jumped in there and taken my shirt off.
I think you were probably asleep at this point still. Still sat at the chairs.
I was just sleeping in the corner, I think. Just let him have a little rest. He'll be back soon. Yeah, we've gone for a bit more of an upbeat song, so an upbeat one of like a faster song, and I think I might have bitten off a bit more than I can chew. So there's a term to say like something that you're not quite capable of doing.
Have you actually had any practice at all?
No, is the answer.
I can get in. I actually can't wait for this.
So
because there's a fine line between it looking good and shit.
I think I'll be a long way from that line. I think I'll be very much on the looking shit. I won't be anywhere near making it look good.
Yeah.
So many things to worry about. I could step on her dress. She could fall over. Like, there's just doesn't stop. Yeah. Yeah,
because even when you practice, you obviously practice in just jeans or shorts. You never practice in the dress.
Exactly.
So that was a nightmare actually. Because you've got to step like an extra 6 inches. So
you're supposed to be making me feel better here. This is definitely not helping at all. So let's quickly move on to the next one. Connected to music again, is people don't like the music. Did you get any complaints about music at your wedding?
No. I remember the DJ said it was the most bizarre playlist he'd ever been given, though. We had a combination of Sugar Babes right down to, rap by the time you got on there. Hip hop.
Yeah, I don't know if people are familiar with the Sugar Babe, so here's a little bit for you.
If you're ready for me, boy, you better push the button and let me know before I get the wrong idea and go. You're gonna miss the freak that I control.
And then when I took over the dance floor, I spent a lot of time hassling the DJ. So hassling him, just saying, put this one on. And then he wouldn't. But then after like 50 times when I asked, I think he just thought, I'll put it on now to shut him up. And then when it did come on, oh God, I think that's when the shirt came off. I think we had some Tupac on. I think it was this song.
You think I come to talking my fool away? Positions on the floor, it's like erotic. Ironic, cause I'm somewhat psychotic. I'm hitting switches on bitches like I've been fixed with hydraulics. Up and down like a roller coaster. I'm up the side to I ain't quick until the show is over. Cause I'm a rider in and out.
which I suppose it's not really a surprise to hear that with Tupac and a hairy skinny man with his shirt off, that people left the dance floor.
Yeah, sweating profusely as well.
Yeah, a lovely term there again, profusely, like
it's
a lot.
Yeah, it's almost like everyone just needs to envisage that for about a couple of seconds. Just think about that sight.
I have got a picture. I think I have shared this once before, but I'll put it on the website again. I'm not going to share it on social media because it's quite embarrassing. But if you go to the show notes page, it will be there. Although speaking about music, I remember you put on Football's Coming Home 3 times, at least 3 times.
3 times, yeah. Why not? When am I ever going to get a DJ to put it on once, let alone 3 times?
3 times. I mean, I love that song. Absolutely love it. And when it came on the first time, I was loving it. The second time it came on, I was kind of loving it. And the third time, I think I even remember saying to you, like, are you sure? And you were like, yeah, come on. And then I had to like pretend to have fun. And I was like, okay, let's do this.
You loved it. It was a high point of the wedding, definitely.
The first time was. I don't know about the third time. I'm not 100% sure about that. So I suppose to finish the podcast, I just need to moan about something, just to get something off my chest.
Here we go. I was thinking this was all too positive. But, well, I say that. What can go wrong on a wedding? Yeah.
Exactly. That's about as positive as it can
as
get
you
for
get,
me.
Yeah. Go on, have your moan.
I mean, just the things you have to pay for your wedding. It's a fucking joke, isn't it? Like, so someone actually told me once, when you get married, you just have to pretend you're famous for a day and just spend money like a famous person spends money. Like, for example, we get in a car from the church to like the venue where we'll have the wedding reception. Okay. And so we've paid him €400, right? It's about a 20-minute drive. Yeah. So I actually did the calculation. That's €20 a minute.
I bet you did the calculation. And I bet you've told Mrs. Rock and Roll English as well, haven't you?
I mean, what is that? I mean, even for a taxi, if I got a 20-minute taxi and it cost me €50, I'd be like, fucking hell, that was really expensive.
Yeah, but I assume it's a bit nicer than a taxi.
Kind of. It's a retro version of a car. So it's not even got air conditioning. So you fucking spend €400 for a 20-minute drive. You haven't even got any air conditioning.
Does Mrs. R&R listen to this podcast?
I hope not.
She'd probably not know. Then she realise how miserable you really are.
No, she loves it. She loves it. She knows I'm only joking, okay?
She loves the banter, eh?
She loves the banter. Banter's such a lovely British word of, like, you know, making jokes, making fun out of each other. That's all we've got to do in Britain, though. You know, the weather's shit, so there's nothing else to do except take the piss out of each other.
Well, that's stopped for 2 days this weekend while the weather's good.
Okay, so just 363 days a year. Difficult calculation, 365 minus 2, isn't it?
Yeah, for some.
Anyway, thanks very much for putting my mind at ease. You've helped a lot, especially with the first dance thing. Now I'm not worried about it at all.
There we go. Break a leg.
Okay, lovely term there of saying like good luck, basically. I will. Probably literally. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time, PT Teach. I'm sure we'll see you soon. Maybe a workout soon after the wedding when things have calmed down again, obviously.
Yeah, would love it.
Always ready, aren't you?
You need to get yourself a little bit fitter, though.
Yeah, it still annoys me that you were fat and now you're fitter than me. I just still can't accept this fact. It's just fucking... Wow. One day I'll be fitter than you. One day.
Well, we'll see.
We will see.
Get it organised.
Okay, will do. Anyway, thanks a lot for your time, PT Teach. See you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Okay, so that was me speaking to PT Teach about what can go wrong at your wedding. At the beginning, PT Teach said that he was trying to keep up with me. So to keep up with someone, to go at the same speed as someone. Then we were talking about a pedo in a school or a shop. So pedo, remember, is short for paedophile. And PT Teach said I was trying to stray away from that. So to kind of go away from it, basically. He also said that if there was no review, we were setting ourselves up for a fall. It's probably quite obvious the meaning there, isn't it? Like preparing yourself for a disaster, but a very nice term. I said that I embrace my boring voice. So when you embrace something, you accept it and you're proud of it. I then said that PT Teach could put my mind at rest. So if you put someone's mind at rest, you relax them, basically to say, don't worry. We had the word pissed. Remember, that's obviously drunk. I said that at PT Teach's wedding, there were beers on tap. So if there are beers on tap, there is literally a tap where beers come out of, very often in pubs, for example. But we also use that term just to say when it keeps coming, like there were endless beers on tap. I then said at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was completely obliterated. So that's a term that can be used to say you're very drunk, but if you obliterate something, you completely destroy it. And I was completely destroyed. PT Teach said he was going to hammer the open bar. So in this situation, he means he was really going to take advantage of it. He also had a lovely term, the type of shithousery you would do about tipping beer on the floor. That's an invented word, by the way, but used in England. If you're on the streets in England, that's the type of thing people will say. He also said that his wedding day was seamless, so there were no problems at all. Everything went smoothly. I then mentioned the speeches sobered me up. There's a lovely phrasal verb there, which means basically, well, the opposite of get drunk, I suppose. You know, you get drunk, and then if you stop drinking, you become less drunk. You sober up. I then said I got a second wind after the speeches. So if you get a second wind, you get a second boost of energy, let's say. We said I had to down a bottle of schnapps. So when you down it, it's when you go duk, 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 and drink it really quickly. We had the term a one-off as well, which means just one time. Then PT Teach, when he said about my fitness is 3 out of 10, I said it's not true, and he said it's bang on. It's exactly correct. He also used the term the other half to speak about Mrs. PT Teach, because this term, the other half, can be used to describe your girlfriend, your wife, or your boyfriend, your husband, whatever. We had the term shitting it. So when you're shitting it, you're very scared, basically. We had the term upbeat, an upbeat song, like a fast song. Then we had the best term of the day, where I said, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew with this song. So basically to say I've put too much in my mouth and I can't chew it. So the task is too big, basically. I'm not capable. And we had the term hassle when I said I spent a lot of time hassling the DJ. So when you hassle someone, you annoy them, basically. We had the term sweating profusively, so that means sweating a lot, basically. We also had the term break a leg, which obviously means good luck. Many people have heard of this, but I often hear, in fact, very often hear people using this incorrectly because it is not a direct substitute for good luck. If I'm doing an exam, for example, you wouldn't say break a leg. We use this specifically for performances, like maybe doing a dance, okay, break a leg, like good luck. But remember, we use it for performances and not just general things where you need luck. Anyway, remember, all of this rock and roll vocabulary is on the website, rockandrollenglish.com/episode 206. And there will also be the embarrassing photos somewhere on that page, okay, hidden, so people, not too many people can see them. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I will see you all in 2 weeks when I will be a married man. The next podcast I do, I will be a married man. So yes, see you all soon. Take care. But in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.